Hi, welcome to the Creative Treehouse. My name is Robin Broom and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Thanks for joining me in the Treehouse today. Today's project is a favorite of mine that's retiring. The stamp set and the dies are retiring, and let me show you those. It is the Grace's Garden set. I just love it. It's lots of opportunities to color, watercolor, do the blending pens, even Stampin' Write markers, watercolor pencils. So many different neat ways to make these come alive. And the Garden Gateway dies are the dies that go with this set. Now I know that a lot of these dies from Stampin' Up! That are retiring have been major league discounted, so go check it out. You can go check out my online store. I'll put a link to it in the description, and see if you don't already have this bundle and you don't have a demonstrator, I would love it if you would choose me as your demonstrator and you can order those products. Let me show you the dies that we will be using to make this card. These are the 4 dies that we'll be using. And let's see what else. We will be using basic white paper and blending brushes and all sorts of stuff. So let me get out the paper and show you some of the tips and tricks. All right, so we have the regular piece of, it's going to be A2. It's the regular piece of paper, and we've scored it at 4 1/4. So it is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 here, and then there's another piece, a separate piece that is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now to cut that, what I did was I first cut it out of here. I used the kind of the archway window looking arched window die, and I cut it out using the Stampin' Emboss machine. And then once this one was cut out, I put it up against this one and laid the die back in there. And when the die lays in there, it kind of, you can tell exactly where it needs to be. It kind of just snaps into this, and you can run this through the machine again and makes this other one also have the window. So that's how we're going to do it. We will eventually cut this one, trim it down, but it's a lot easier to work with not trimmed down to begin with. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use some washi tape, and I'm going to kind of adhere these together so it doesn't move. And after I get that done, I'm going to fold it up like this. It's got a little bit of a twist to it there. So that is that. And then what we're going to do, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the center, which is kind of unusual. Usually we do our centers towards the end, but I have got it all set up here with the Stamparatus. And we're going to take it and we're going to put it all the way up against. I've got it measured and ready for this. All right, like that. And then I'm using the Balmy Blue ink, and let me ink up our sentiments. And that's the thing I really like about the Stamparatus, is that it enables you to put what you need exactly where you want it to go. And it also allows you to do multiples, and it allows you to go back and re-ink if it didn't exactly do what you wanted it to do. Like I feel like, especially because Balmy Blue can be a very light color, I'm going to re-ink one more time and see if I can get it just a tad darker. Okay. And the sentiments that I'm using are from a retired set. Oh yes, that looks great. Slide my magnets out of the way, pull that off, and move the Stamparatus out of the way. All right, so now we have the inside of the card. And if that is dry, we're going to go ahead and close it up like that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our blending brushes. So let me get my scrap paper ready. And we're going to be using the Balmy Blue again. And also, we're going to use Old Olive. All right, I love the blending brushes. They are back ordered. I think I ordered one or a set in February, or maybe one before that. And anyway, the February ones are still not, they're still waiting. So with this strange pandemic stuff, we have to wait. All right, but I love them. I'm very, very much looking forward to being able to get another set. So when you get yours, remember to, it's got a very skinny neck, and so the best thing to do is to put your finger on the head and then just rub across. It is a super soft brush. It is just wonderful just to sit there and rub your fingers across it. So we're just going to start and kind of make swirls on this one. And I'm sort of pretending like this might be the sky. That's what's in my mind's eye. And we're just going to go around. And we're also going to go right on the inside. We're going to just pretend like there's not a cutout. We're just going to, whatever we do on the outside, we're also going to be doing on the inside. Now with the Balmy Blue, it's lighter. I don't feel like I have to sort of stamp off or off to the edge and then back on. Okay, we're going to come down a little bit further. These are just so awesome to work with. I hope you have some in your house already, and if not, that's just a great tool. Okay. And just the swirl just kind of makes me think of clouds and the pretty sky. All right, now we're going to be moving down to what I would consider the ground. So we're going to close up our Balmy Blue. I'm going to wipe off the brush just a little bit, and we're going to go right on to the Old Olive. Now these blending brushes can be washed with just water, which I have done. And I'm going to just slide my card over just a little bit. And see if you can, I'm going to go with the green. Now the green does kind of blob a little bit, or at least it does for me. And so sometimes you want to start your swirling off and then bring it on to your paper. So we're just getting a lot of grass feel right here. And again, we're going to go make sure that we remember to go inside the card as well. And to me, some of the swirls are not a problem because you get little hills and things with your grass. So that's just fine. All right, so there is that. And that's just kind of, they're just fun to use. I like the blending brushes. All right, let's see if I think I've pulled that enough. We may want to put just a little bit of ink right there and right here just to be sure. And I'm just going to pull it off of there and add just a little bit more. We will be trimming it. I just want to be sure. And then we'll go back to our blue. I feel like it's probably all right that they were pretty much on the edge, but I want to be sure. Okay, that should get that. Wipe it off, set it aside. All right, the next thing, let me pull the washi tape off of the card here. All right, and then we're going to trim the card. Get our trimmer out, and we're going to trim a quarter. That washi tape is attached, a quarter of an inch, but we're going to do 1/8 on each side. So we got 1/8 on this side and 1/8 on this side. We'll just keep turning it around. It's just a lot easier to cut it afterwards. It's very hard to, because we want the edges of the card to actually be white around it. Okay, and then this one. And I should have it. Let's check and see if I got all 4 sides. And if it matches up, yep, looks great. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. There's lots of sentiments. The one that actually goes with the stamp set works perfectly. I used it yesterday and gave a birthday card with it. And so it's this one, and it's awesome. It fits perfectly in there. Of all the blossoms in life's garden, friendship is the most fragrant. And then where this one says Happy Mother's Day on the inside, hers said Happy Birthday. So that worked out well. Okay, so that's looking good. The next thing we need to do, I'm going to move this aside again. We're going to work on our flowers. Now there is a hint about the flowers. The flowers, when you stamp them, they won't, I like to use as many scraps as possible so I didn't have to use any extra. If you stamp the tall one, which kind of looks like maybe hollyhocks, if you stamp it crooked at an angle, then you'll be able to get both of them out of this same piece of scrap. So, because we're not going to be using that little window, and if you do it just right, you'll be able to run both of them through the machine at the same time. So that is my tip on that. Now I have already colored one of them, and let me just bring my scrap back in just for a minute. I've colored one of them, and I'm going to color with you on the other one. And you can use, I've used all sorts of things, but I think this time I'm going to use some of the Stampin' Up markers, and I'm going to start, I think, with a balmy blue, if I can find the balmy blue. Oh, there it is. It's on the other side. All right, I'm just gonna, and you don't have to be very precise on this. You know, I think it gives it more of a watercolor feel if you are not super precise. If you feel like you need to be, that's okay. Just take a little bit more time. Not a problem. But I don't think anybody's going to be really looking carefully at your foliage. All right, and then I'm going to do another, and I think this one I'm going to, yeah, I'll do both. Just do a slightly different color. I think most of these, the leaves and the flowers, just look better with two tones in them. It just gives it a little bit more, it pops them out, gives them a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of the darker, and again, I'm just kind of making it up and adding dots here and there. Okay, and then I can even use the fine tip and kind of outline the flowers just a little bit. And again, you don't have to be as detailed. All right, and then I'm going to do the same type of thing with my leaves. I'll do like a pear pizzazz color first. And again, you don't have to be precise. There you go. And I'll put a little bit on the ground as well. Then I'm going to move to the old olive. Nope, looks like I forgot a leaf in there. Okay, I'm going to kind of highlight the stem. I failed to mention that Sahara Sand is the color that I used to do the basic outline of both of these flowers. So, and then I think what I'll also do, I'm going to use the bigger tip. I'm going to add just a little bit of that, the darker color in there. I'm also going to add some to the bottom. That looks good. Now let me go back and catch the leaf that I left out. All right, looking good. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to bring our little card front over, and I'm going to lay these down and kind of get an idea of where they're going to be and what's behind them. So all of pretty much the purple flowers will have blue behind them, and then right in here, basically where the leaves are, that will also be blue and green below it. So I'm going to bring my old olive and my balmy blue and my blending brush back, and I'll start with the sky, and I'm going to just, and it's, oh, you can do this ahead of time, or you can, and then stamp the flowers, or you can do it like I'm doing it and doing it afterwards. Okay, so it just makes a little bit of difference so it's not as stark white on there and it blends even better onto the card. All right, so that is the blue, and then we'll switch real quick to the old olive, doing the same thing. Again, I just can't wait for you to experience the brushes if you have not already. They are fast becoming one of my favorites. Okay, close that one up, and then they should be ready to go onto our card. So let's make sure we've got it. I think I like it this way the best. Well, it looks really good. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to do our gates. And we actually make two of them. One is going to go on this side, and then we're going to use parts of the other one to go on the back. So what we'll do is and it does have a front and a back to the gate. If you look, you can see some indentations where the parts of the gate are. It's very subtle. All right, I'm going to get my multi-purpose glue, and I am going to put just around this. I'm going to put tiny dots. That was not a tiny dot, was it? Tiny dots all up and down. And then I will adhere trying to get some of the extra glue there. Then I will adhere the gate down. And it doesn't go completely all the way down. All right, so we've got gate number 1. Okay. All right. And then we're going to put our plants on. And the plants, however, I'm going to actually use dimensionals for the plants. So, and I think probably the smaller dimensionals are the best since they're relatively small plants. I'll put 2 down at the base of this one, and maybe 1 in here, 1 to this side, 1 to this side. Might be a little too many. Pull the backs off, and then I'll get that popped up on one side. All right, which side did I say? Let's do it on this side. Put down just a little more. Terrific. Okay, and the next one, the same thing. We'll just add some dimensionals to this one. Looks good. I think that should be good on the short plant. And you can color them whichever colors suit your fancy. Okay, and then another thing that we could do, and I should have probably done it before I adhered it, but we can actually, there's a little tiny line, we can actually cut our gate right down the center so that it is a working gate. So now our gate works. Isn't that cool? Super cool. All right. And then if we pulled the plants over just a little bit more, then your gate would even be better. Now, I'm sorry I'm not always into the camera. I have a completely new setup here and I'm having to get used to it. All right, another thing we're going to do is we're going to adhere this on. We're also going to use dimensionals for that as well. But this time I'll use the larger dimensionals. And I want to just ensure, especially because it's got the open hole in it, that you have enough stability in there. Looks good. I think I'm gonna just because I'm going to add a couple more here just in case somebody's trying to open the gate. All right, did I get them all? Oh, missing one of the little ones. Okay, now let me just open it like this and we will adhere that down. Doesn't that look good? That's so cool. And this is just really fun. And I love to be able to open it up and see the arch there as well. Okay, now the only other thing, the reason I did an extra one, I'm going to cut the fence part off, the actual gate, and just leave the posts. And it doesn't have to be perfect because the other one is going to be showing through more. Okay, so then we'll set that gate aside, and I just think it makes it look a little bit cleaner of a look. Nobody's really going to notice if we put one more of those right there. And so that's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to try to put little bitty dots of glue all around the edge. And then we'll be pretty much finished with our card. So it didn't take very long, but I love the look. And then we'll just try to see if those little knobs right here, we can get that to match up on either side. Okay. There we go. There's our card. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So awesome. I just love it. I love, love, love the look of that. So, and there's lots of other things you can do, other colors you can use, but that is the project for today. And we're going to, in our workshop in a week, we're going to make some of these and use them as Mother's Day cards. So that's something that you can think about, but it would be useful for almost any occasion, except for Christmas, I guess, but any other celebration. So that is the project for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will try it out. If you don't have the stamps and the dies, I would run and get them because they are while supplies last. So again, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me in the Creative Treehouse. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next time in the Creative Treehouse. Bye-bye.